This is a very important question. What is the service of prayer, and what are the first steps in achieving it? You see, these questions are sent in anonymously. Maybe they're not sent in anonymously, but my staff, send me the questions without telling me who the person asking the question is. The tone and the spirit of the question sounds to me like it's a person who's a novice, who's not been davening his whole life. You see, most of us, I, for example, I've been davening since I'm a little kid. So I have the obvious problem, the opposite problem. Davening means open up a siddur and reading words. For me, the issue is, how do I make davening meaningful? A person who comes to prayer as an adult understands meaning before he understands the prayer book. So I want to go about this inversely, backwards. You got to daven. It's a mitzvah to daven. Just like it's a mitzvah to put on tefillin and talis every day and say Shema, it's a mitzvah to daven. Min ha-Torah, daven once a day. The Anshe Knesset Geilah enacted, we should daven 3 times a day, Shachris, Mincha, and Ma'ariv. And they have a time. Of course, the basic davening is the Amidah. Davening means saying the words. You got to pray. An Orthodox Jew, a Frum Yid, prays every day 3 times or twice. Now, you don't necessarily have to daven in Hebrew, so that you feel like you're, first of all, breaking your teeth and you're wasting your dreaming. You can daven in a language that you understand. But you got to daven. You have to say the words. Should you say all of the words every day? This is a very personal, individual question. If it's hard for a person to daven, if they're new at it, if they're not familiar with it, so they can daven part of the davening and sort of grow into it. But first of all, you got to pray. We have to get into the habit of understanding that our relationship with Hashem is not, like they say in the phone books, free nights and weekends. Always, every day, got to pray. Not just once, but 2 times or 3 times. A Jew's involvement with HaKadosh Baruch Hu is regular, not just special. That's the first thing. And then, of course, davening has to have meaning. Or to say it inversely again, before we daven, we know what meaning is. A student of mine once told me that before she became religious, she loved to pray. And after she became religious, prayer lost her meaning because she started reading out of a book. And that's a challenge. Prayer is a meeting between man and God. That's what it is. The Rabbi Yossi Paltiel used to say, you meet God when you pray. How do you meet God? You open yourself up to Him, that's how. You make yourself vulnerable. So psychologically, the prerequisite to prayer is to be calm and to be clear, to get all of the shtusim, all of the nonsense out of your mind. And as my father would say, present yourself, open yourself up to Hashem. What does Hashem look like? What does Hashem sound like? He sounds like nothing. But nothing is in nothing. Nothing is the background of everything. Nothing is the belima on which the whole creator edits al belima. Nothing is on which everything sits. Right? Empty space holds the universe. That empty space is God. And He's not empty. Like my father says to me, that in Kabbalah there's 2 expressions. There's cholol. Cholol means an empty space. And makom panu, a space which has been made empty. Cholol means there's nothing there, so you can put whatever you want. Makom panu means a place which has been created for you. In Klipa it's cholol. In Kedusha it's makom panu. In an environment that's not purposeful, it's empty. In an environment that's meaningful, the space has been made available. Anechi pinisi abayis. The space has been created for you. And our relationship with God depends on how we perceive Him in our world. Is it a cholol? Is it an emptiness that has nothing in it? Or is it a makom panu, a space which He evacuates for us? By evacuating it for us, the evacuation is Him. And we hear Him, we sense Him in our silence, in our passivity. And meaning God is very, very important. And it's done quietly, and it's done peacefully, and it's done meaningfully. And then we talk to Him. And we talk to Him just like I'm talking to you. No fancy schmancy, no jumping up and down, no fireworks. You talk to your husband, you talk to your wife, you talk to your father, you talk to your mother, you talk to your son, you talk to your daughter, you talk to your brother, you talk to your sister, talk to God. Just the same way. But to talk to God and be there, you have to have an environment that's clear, all the other nonsense. Now, he doesn't respond, or at least you don't hear his response, but you hear yourself talking to him. If you prepare yourself properly. If you hear yourself talking to him, that is the response. That he's listening. One of the brachas of the Shmoneh Esrei is Shema Keleinu. Hashem should hear our prayer. And we say, Ki ata shemei atfilas kol peh. You hear everybody's prayer. Of course, the easiest way to know that Hashem hears our prayer is you see him answering us by giving us something material. But in a more subtle way, for us to know that Hashem hears our prayer, we have to be open to him. And then even if he doesn't say anything, or doesn't give us anything, we sense that we communed with him, we became together with him. That's prayer. Now, this isn't easy, but it's important. And ultimately, it's important to do it all the time, every day. You can't daven if you don't make a preparation. And in Yiddishkeit, you daven every day. Now, if you're going to daven every day, the prayer is not going to be that meaningful, because reality does not allow a human being to stop his life 3 times a day and to commune with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Once a year, you can have a day that you set aside where you do nothing but pray, like Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur, or once a month. But in a small way, do it every day. Even though every day's prayer is not going to have the same full experience that you'll have Rosh Hashanah, you do it every day. That's how it's supposed to be. So what I'm answering to this question, what is the service of prayer and what are the first steps in achieving it? Number 1, you got to get used to praying every day. Shachris, Mincha, Ma'ariv. Say it in Hebrew, say it in English, say all of it, say parts of it, to consult a Rav and a Mashpia, how I should go about praying. And that the spirit of the prayer is that I create a space and a time where nothing else is going on, where I meet HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And even if he doesn't respond, if I fully present myself to him, that experience is his answer. And it creates a bond between a person and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is the foundation of Amunah. Not B'tachin, Amunah. Amunah is that God is in my life all the time. He's not only in my life when he does things for me, not only in my life when he gives me things, he's in my life when he gives me the greatest gift that God could give us, which is the gift of God himself, which is constant.